What's up, you guys? It's DeuntaRantsRavesPodcastShow, episode 15. About to get into the situation about how the National Guard's in Chicago and how it makes sense. It's crazy. My bad. Let me get my mouse together. I'm let my boy Black Conservative Perspective break it on down for us. Check this video out.
I will tell you right now, I'm a person that lives on the south side of Chicago. I live in the area. If I call the police, they may take 40 minutes to come there if they come at all.
So Trump has declared war on Chicago using an AI meme of him in a Kid Rock hat, flanked by helicopters, burning the city down. You can't make this up. Although U.S. law prevents the use of the army against Americans, less Congress supports it, which I don't remember hearing about no votes. This shows you that the United States will wage war against its citizens in the name of white supremacy, because U.S. law.
Yeah, public education is really messed up. What is this dude talking about? Do y'all research, man. Jesus Christ.
Is malleable, is subject to change. The overriding, unquestionable law of the United States is white supremacy. All things are possible in furtherance of racism. And it's no coincidence that Chicago is a majority Black and Latino city. But hey, if this is what it takes for solidarity, for people to realize that all of our liberation struggles are connected, so be it. There's one thing that supersedes all the segregation of Chicago is that we love our fucking city. And we can't stand Trump ass. Try to tell you niggas that shit ain't.
Hey, I love Chicago too. I live in Rockford now. You know, I'm in Chicago, but at the time and even now, it's a shithole. Too much was going on. Y'all keep on voting blue no matter who, and y'all want things to get better, but yet y'all keep voting for the same BS. Progressives, socialism. That's not going to help Chicago out. Need conservative. Need common sense.
It's sweet. See what happens when you're getting blown up by a Malort bottle.
That's fake news. When you say that, darling, that's fake news.
Well, why would you the Department of Defense?
Listen, be quiet. Listen. You don't listen. You never listen. That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
Well, you're hearing a lot of pushback, Chris, a lot of fear and even some anger. If you talk about what we just saw here, it was another, you mentioned, third day of protests against the threat of sending more ICE agents or more federal agents for that increased immigration operations here in Chicago and the threat of National Guard. But you're also hearing that pushback from Chicago's political leaders. Mayor Brandon Johnson saying the meme that you were just talking about was beneath the dignity of the president. You had J.B. Pritzker, the governor, saying that this is something that should be taken seriously, saying that the president is threatening war on a major American city. And at issue here, Chris, is
it's a war on crime, you idiot. Both governor and mayor, y'all stupid, man. Get this help for Chicago, man. Get this help for Illinois. Come on, y'all. People are dying out here. That's the whole thing. People are dying.
not just the opposition to those increased ICE operations that are likely to come, that the governor has been warning that he's hearing is going to happen, is imminent here in Chicago, but it's also the threat that you're hearing of the now.
Boy. So we got to talk about Chicago, a liberal city that is facing an immigration/crime crackdown. Okay, immigration, crime, basically the same thing at this point. Okay, and President Trump wants to clean up Chicago the same way that he cleaned up Washington, D.C. Now, the Democrats are obviously playing checkers, okay, and President Trump is playing chess because President Trump, once again, has gotten Democrats to take very unpopular positions, which is that they should be soft on crime and that crime is non-existent, right? That is essentially what Democrats are doing because President Trump wants to be tough on crime, and he's acknowledging the reality that crime is rampant in these liberal cities, which Democrats deny. So President Trump, again, is now reportedly targeting Chicago at the very least for an immigration crackdown. And we're going to see about the National Guard pulling up to Chicago for an expanded overall crime crackdown. Now, there are some people in Chicago, specifically the thugs and the criminals, who have allegedly expressed their opinions about the National Guard coming in and cracking down on crime. Apparently, the gangbangers in Chicago are saying afraid of the National Guard. In fact, they're warning the National Guard not to come, right? They're sending a warning saying, don't come, okay? Because apparently they believe that they can take on the National Guard, okay? That the National Guard should be afraid of coming to Chicago and not the other way around. The thugs shouldn't be afraid of the National Guard. No. The National Guard should be afraid of the thugs. At least that is the takeaway from some individuals who have took to the internet to express how the gang members of Chicago feel about this. Take a look.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, gang. Do not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different fucking breed out here. We are not Los Angeles. We are not Washington, D.C. This is Chicago. The niggas go fight back. I'm telling you, them go fight back, gang. Whatever. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Them young got switches, gang. They not going for that shit, bro. I know a bunch of y'all finna say, oh, it's the National Guard. They can't do anything about it. They must go in Chicago. Do y'all know that it's more bad people than good people, bro? There are over.
That's why we need the National Guard in Chicago. Come on, bro. Go to a fucking gym. Lose some weight.
100,000 gangs in Chicago by the city by itself.
Yeah, Trump talking about something. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. You about to find out why it's called direct. The fuck, goofy ass.
JB said Tangerine better find somebody he could actually play with. But coming to Chicago ain't the move. Matter of fact, he said, I double dog dare you to touch one of my people, touch one of my kids, touch one of my kids, see what's going to happen. I'm coming after you with everything I got. He needs to know that we are not going to make this easy for him.
Yeah, see that? You heard that. Apparently, there are YNs in Chicago sending a warning to Trump saying, hey, don't send the National Guard, right? It's going to be some problems if you send the National Guard. That is what they're allegedly saying, as if they could take the National Guard. And I think it's safe to say that idea is laughable at this point.
Hey, man, those of y'all in Chicago and other cities that are telling Trump not to send the National Guard there because the YNs are going to scare away the U.S. military, y'all are out of y'all minds. I don't think y'all understand we have the strongest military in the world. The YNs and gangs in your city have nothing on the U.S. military. I just seen a post dude was like, yeah, don't come to Chicago. Y'all don't understand how dangerous it is. This ain't D.C. Clearly, you've never been to D.C. I don't know why y'all think D.C. is sweet, and y'all see how they cleaned it up quickly. They'll do the same with Chicago. Did you see the Venezuelans that tried to smuggle some drugs in here on the boat a couple days ago? And they got blown up. What you think is going to happen on American soil?
Obliterated.
And go ahead and think you're going to attack one of these National Guardsmen. Go ahead. See what happens. If you survive, that's a big if. You'll never see the light of day again. And keep the threats up. I don't know why y'all think that's going to make Trump be like, oh, yeah, the YNs of Chicago said don't show up. So, yeah, we're not going to go there. See what happens. I hope this happens.
Now, Trump might not drop the Epstein list, but one thing he will drop is a drone strike on any block in Chicago. I'm sitting here seeing folks on here acting like they really about to go to war with the Department of War. Bro, is y'all folks crazy, bro? Is y'all forgetting they on the 3-0 sweep right now? They done took out Iran, Los Angeles, and D.C. in the last 3 months. They just been in the last 3 months, bro. Trump is...
These guys are trained. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Chicago. This ain't no Call of Duty bullshit, man. These guys are trained to take out nations, damn near, you know what I'm saying? Countries and shit like that. You know, this is the military. What the hell? That's the problem with the school system in Chicago. See that shit? They think they can just outdo a military. They math is all fucked up.
Literally posting the kill counts from taking out cartel ships on True Social right now. Dude, let me tell y'all exactly how this gonna go, right? The minute one of them guys in our military get hurt, the minute y'all do anything to any one of them, y'all just gonna be sitting there and all of a sudden the lit light gonna come out the sky. Everybody blown up, disintegrated. I'm telling y'all, bro. Y'all just gonna evaporate into the...
Oh yeah, like, subscribe to the show. I'm on iHeartRadio, Spotify. Get myself out there for the people. Most of all, it's for God. None about me. It's all about God.
This. And then Trump gonna post the kill cam on X tonight, bro. And we gonna be watching it like, dang, bro. Them boys just... Why they thought they were so tough? I get it. Y'all a dangerous city. Probably the most dangerous city in America. bro, these are the most dangerous men in the world. Like, I don't know if y'all forget, we are the 2-time World War champs, and we ain't did nothing but got stronger every year since. And y'all think y'all stand a chance because y'all got switches?
America,
You ever seen a switch on the back of a damn truck? On the back of a gun? On the back of a truck? You ain't never seen that, huh? That one. You ever seen a drone with switches? Well, y'all better get ready, man. May the best of luck be with y'all, bro, because y'all gonna need all the luck y'all can get messing with them boys. I'm just telling y'all that right now.
I know what's so funny to me is the fact that we got people on TikTok and the people of Chicago saying that they're not scared of the National Guard. Which, okay, you may not be scared of the National Guard or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna tell y'all something. The National Guard definitely ain't scared of y'all, and the National Guard definitely don't mind bringing their ass to Chicago and shutting that whole city down. And the only reason these people saying this is because Trump said that they're going to find out what he did with D.C. and they're going to do the same thing in Chicago. And I guess the people of Chicago feeling some type of way. The dude's talking about some, oh, we got switches, we ain't scared of the National Guard, we got all this, we got all that. As if this not the U.S. military that y'all talking about. I guarantee you, them folks start bringing those tanks and bringing those grenade launchers to the streets. There is absolutely nothing that y'all people can do to the National Guard once they get to Chicago. I'm going to tell you that now. These are trained professionals that we're talking about here. These people specialize in that type of activity in the active ward each and every day. And you think they finna be scared or finna be affected by coming into Chicago and shutting that city down? Absolutely not. These people are trained to neutralize the target. Literally. And we got the people of Chicago thinking because they got a couple Glocks and a couple switches or whatnot, and maybe a few ARs or whatnot, they thinking that they can take on the world. Man, y'all people about to fuck around and find out what it's really about and what America is really about.
Yeah. So you say that, you heard that. Okay. There's nothing else that really needs to be said about this. Okay. I think most people understand how silly it is to even entertain this idea of, the South Side of Chicago or the gangs or whatever taking on the U.S. military. Like, it's just nonsense, right? Like, it's not gonna happen. And if it happened, we all know how it would end, right? I think we all know. So that being said, President Trump is launching an ICE operation called Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago. Okay, this is a part of the immigration crackdown. Depending on how the lunatics in Chicago handle ICE being in Chicago and, doing their jobs, I think that will determine whether or not the National Guard will actually come in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this.
We are learning more about an expanded ICE crackdown here in Chicago. Moments ago, the Department of Homeland Security announcing Operation Midway Blitz. They say it's in honor of a suburban Chicago girl killed earlier this year in a car crash. That driver was in the country illegally.
No one should have to do and go through what we're going through right now. And it could have been avoided. Katie was killed by someone who really could have been vetted and not been in this country, and she would be here with us today.
Thousands of people taking to the streets in downtown Chicago.
Let's go Brandon Johnson and let's go Brandon Joe Biden. You dumb fucks. Blood is on y'all hands, man.
Chicago over the weekend to protest these expanded plans, with more protests expected. News Nation's Nancy Lewis live in Chicago. Nancy, where faith leaders just wrapped up a rally. What did they say?
Well, Nicole, we heard faith leaders denouncing the immigration crackdown and what seems to be the imminent deployment of federal troops. But you've heard President Trump say that it's not a case of war against Chicago, but a case of common sense in dealing with crime. Now, a big part of the federal strategy is a ramp up in ICE operations all over the country, especially in sanctuary cities. Here in Chicago, daily detainment by federal agents has meant a steady stream of detainees brought to a suburban ICE facility for processing. According to a source, a known pedophile among the weekend arrests. The agency's just released worst of the week list includes 2 men recently detained in Chicago, a 63-year-old convicted murderer from Cuba, and a 42-year-old Dominican man with multiple convictions, including assault, theft, and illegal reentry. Crime does remain a very real issue in Chicago. Robbers just hit a Rolex store right on the famed Magnificent Mile with thieves smashing the windows, grabbing nearly $200,000 in watches, all in broad daylight. Police did make 6 arrests, but since Friday, there have been 15 shooting incidents and 5 homicides.
Wow.
So don't bring in the National Guard. No more help. No extra help. Fund the police with more training. Do not defund the police. We need the police. That's what they're there for, protection. I did security. I know how security is. It's a tough job. Like imagine being a cop, very stressful. But at the same time, they're there to help and prevent BS. More training, yes.
Faith leaders are calling for less federal force and more compassion.
Wow. Again, imagine being a Democrat right now, right? Being a Democrat and with a straight face having to tell your constituents, to tell America, crime is not that big of a deal in Chicago, right? This is overblown. Nothing's wrong. Just a Rolex store getting robbed in broad daylight in the middle of downtown Chicago, right? A place that's supposed to be safe, a place where this is supposed to be unheard of, right? Unheard of. They did it in broad daylight. Broad daylight, okay? Again, this is supposed to be unheard of. You're not supposed to hear about stories like this. Not in a developed country like the United States of America. No. You're not supposed to hear about this. We're not supposed to see these types of stories ever. But here we have a Rolex store in the middle of downtown Chicago just getting robbed in broad daylight. Crime is not a problem. On top of that, you have people being shot, killed. Same old. That happens every weekend in Chicago. Crime is not a problem, right? That's a right-wing Republican conspiracy theory, okay? Yeah, this is just not going to play well for Democrats in general elections. It might play well for them in primaries. It ain't going to play well for them in general elections, I'm telling you.
Calling for less federal force and more compassion.
Chicago does not need militarization. Chicago needs mobilization for justice. Chicago does not need cases. Chicago needs care, community, and compassion. They may try to meet our pain with policing, our cries with cages, and our hopes for handcuffs. But we say no. We declare faith over fear, love over hate, and power over.
Where is all this energy for black on black crime, y'all? And abortion is killing these babies, black babies at that. Come on, y'all. Where's all the energy protest for that? Oh, doesn't fit the narrative.
Oppression.
Yeah, all empty words. What Chicago needs is law and order, right? That's what they need.
Anxiety remains high in Chicago, especially in immigrant communities. Anger over ICE fueled a massive rally over the weekend with thousands marching through the heart of Chicago to protest what's been happening. Now, enforcement is only expected to ramp up even more this week with Customs and Border Patrol units now in Chicago as well. And Nicole, it's much of the same personnel behind the raids that we saw in Southern California over the weekend. Nicole?
And so, Nancy, talk about the timing of these expanded operations when it comes to Chicago specifically.
Yeah, a lot being made about the timing because September is usually a very celebratory month for the immigrant population, specifically Mexican Americans. There is a huge Mexican Independence Day parade coming up this weekend in the community of Little Village. Last weekend, we had the Pilsen Parade, the Mexican Independence Day parade, and it did go off, but there were far fewer people in the crowds, and there was also a network of lookouts, people looking for any ICE agents and ready to sound alarms in case there were ICE operations underway. Meantime, other events canceled or postponed linked to the celebration that usually happens. Nicole?
Yeah, just looking at that video.
So
celebrate,
seeing that you're
man, get your papers right.
Hey, if you're in the country illegally, then obviously you're gonna want to avoid those
once again, get your papers right.
types of events. If you're in the country legally, I'm not sure exactly why you would avoid those events. I mean, to me, it would seem as if those events would be safer if you have federal forces at those events. But, you know, apparently these people don't care about safety. They don't care about being protected, right? They want to live in crime-ridden shitholes, apparently, right? That's what they want. Okay, if you listen to some of these alleged Chicago gang members and what they allegedly said, yeah, they like killing each other, right? They like it being crime infested. Who cares, right? Again, they hate Trump more than they love their city, right? They hate Trump more than they love their neighbor. They hate Trump more than they love America, and that's why you're seeing pushback against common sense. What these governors should be trying to do is that they should be trying to work with the president in a partnership to crack down on crime in a real way, right? Not in a fake way, not in the, oh, give us federal dollars to go and give to our nonprofit buddies. No, not in that way, but in a real way, right? In an actual real way that involves more law enforcement. Yeah, I mean, if they did that would actually be a very popular thing. That would be the right thing to do. But again, we're at a point in politics where, again, Trump hatred is what drives the Democrat Party. And it really has driven them into some weird places, really weird places. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
I will tell you.
Yeah, there you have it, man. Thank you, Black Conservative Perspective, for that, breakdown, me reacting to it. Appreciate you guys tuning in, listening. Appreciate it. May God bless you all. Put God first. Like, subscribe. Peace.